Hey guys, it's Ron. Today we are going to be taking the hubcaps off of this 2016 Ram Promaster City for the purpose of painting them. So let's get to it. First step is to find a keyed lug nut. There is one that looks different, and to do that I just grab my flashlight and go in here, and if you look at them, one just looks a little different. It's like half drilled out, and it's this one right here. So what we'll do is that one with a no, do not remove. If you take all 5 of the lug nuts out, the vehicle's going to hit the ground, and you'll see what I mean when I show you one of the lug nuts. So the other 5, you can simply grab a 17mm lug wrench and start taking them off. Or if you have a kind neighbor that happens to have a impact wrench, this is going to get loud, so I'll give you a second. So that's a positive. Make sure it's going in the right direction, right? Pop them off. And this is what I mean with their studded in. So shows the reason that it would fall right out, right? And that's it. It comes right out. So you can see one of them, I don't know if you'd notice, this one is kind of half keyed so that when you put it back on, it goes on the same way, and it'll pop right on. Since I'm going to take a while to paint these up and clean them up, I'm going to go ahead and put the lug nuts back in. After this is all done, by the way, I believe I'm just going to go get the tires rotated. It's probably time to get that done anyway, so I'm not sure a torque specs on these or anything like that, but I'll just make sure that they're tight. First of all, when you put them back in, make sure you pre-thread. Don't just start from scratch. But again, noisy, sorry, but I just do it a little bit. I was told this by my kind neighbor, who's also a damn good mechanic. Just about that. That's really all you need. Just gonna hit them with a hose, get some of the bolts off. I haven't degreased them yet. I'm just taking a look at them, and around the edge I do have a little bit of curb rash on this, so there's a million videos on YouTube about how to fix this stuff, but I'm just going to take it real simple and just do I've just got 120 grit sandpaper, so I'm just going to make that as nice as I can. I might go up, maybe to 220 after I get all the bulk of the scratches out. The other thing that is a matter of debate is this centerpiece. Am I painting the centerpiece or am I not painting the centerpiece? General consensus is don't paint the centerpiece, and if I hate it, I'll paint it later. So this is just take a screwdriver and a hammer, and you can kind of see how that'll become pretty obvious to you. I mean, seriously, that was just 2 hits, and the center's out. So it works out nice. I'm discovering that there's a bit of a film on these things. I don't know, it almost looks like a varnish, or for lack of a better word, but right now what I'm doing is I've got a degreaser, and I'm just gonna let that soak on the wheels for a while. I have been sanding. Generally, I sanded the road rash off the one. I think I'm pretty happy with that, but then I started sanding the whole wheel, and I figured maybe degreasing first would be a better next step. The one that I sanded with 220 grit sandpaper took a while to get rid of the scratches left by the 220 grit sandpaper. So what I'm doing on the other ones is I'm not using 220 at all. I went straight to 600. It's taking off that varnishy looking surface. So I'm just really going over all of them, cracks and crevices. I am wetting this, and it's making it come out really nice. If you bring them into the sun, you can see the areas that aren't, like when I said that kind of a varnish looking thing, able to get that off. I've given these ample time to dry. In terms of the sandpaper, the 600 grit, they took me about 20 minutes to do a wheel, just with 600 grit sandpaper. The one that I played with the 220, I had to go to like 400 and then 600, and it took me a lot longer to get to it, but 600 was fine just from the start, just using a wet sandpaper. Last step before I paint is alcohol, and I'm just going to put it on a rag and make sure that everything has just a really good clean. The spray I'm using is a duplicolor wheel coating. I picked satin black. So instructions say, after shake the can for a minute, to spray 3 light coats followed by 1 medium wet coat, and apply all the coats within 1 hour and wait 10 minutes between coats. So I'm going to spray each one of these light coats and follow the directions. 3 light coats, 10 minutes apart, then 1 medium wet coat, and that should be it. I bought 2 cans of spray paint, so let's see how it goes. Ten minutes have passed, so time for the second light coat. Standing on the other side of the bench this time. Another 10 minutes. Third coat. Third light coat. Minutes have passed. Medium wet coat. Lord, don't let me screw this up. Okay guys, 1 can did do that. I don't know how well you can see that in the sun, but it actually looks really good. And with 1 can, and he said there's barely anything left in that can. The only other thing I might do is inside of the holes here, I might actually spray some into the cap and spray inside the holes, but maybe not. The shadows might just take care of it. It's a new day, and these have dried overnight. So what I'm gonna do is I've actually place that and just click it, and you can hear the click. It clicked right in. Neighbor isn't around today, and there's actually a pretty easy way to do this that doesn't require an impact driver. First thing we do is line it up. There's a note right here as to where the valve stem sits. So if it's right there, then this right here would be the one that has to stay. So again, mark it so I don't do anything stupid and hurt myself badly. And we can just knock these off. They were pretty loose from yesterday just with the impact driver, so except that one. And they just come right out. I actually just put a 17 millimeter on this. And just a comment, they do make a clear coat to put over this, but I decided not to go that direction because, well, where I live it doesn't snow, and I just didn't want to go through it. But if you do live in an area that has some pretty harsh weather, the clear coat might not be a bad idea. So we just place it. You can kind of shift it a little. You can kind of line up the holes in the steel wheel with it, and then I just use this to thread it up, get them started. And if they don't go in right away, you just need to move the wheel around a little bit, or move the hubcap around a little bit. I actually like the way this looks too. And earlier I mentioned I wasn't going to bother with torque specs, but I remembered I bought a torque wrench. I think it was a Harbor Freight sale a long time ago. And I might as well use it. So I'm just going to, the first time I did this, I had this turned all the way up to the drill setting, and I almost broke my wrist because it gave me a good hit. So this is just pretty high, but it's just getting them kind of tight. torque wrench. Looked it up on the internet, and it said 63 foot-pounds for a steel wheel, so I set my torque wrench for 63 pounds. And I'm gonna go skipping one. And that's it. We'll take a look around the vehicle next. Well, that's the end product. I was always thinking that this vehicle could not look cool, but I don't know. You might still debate me that it's incapable of looking cool, but I like it a lot. I am glad I didn't paint the center pieces, because you set it off just a little bit. And that's all. If you have any questions, let me know. Thanks, guys.